Alright, hi everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and tonight's video is an educational video on trendline retracements and the importance of determining how to find these. Actually, we're going to show how to trade these. Really a great setup. If anything, it's, there's a couple great setups I'd love to trade. Inverted head and shoulder breakouts, slanted inverted head and shoulder breakouts, cup and handles, mostly pattern trades. This is probably one of the more effective trades, but it takes a little patience to get to this point because you have to know what you're looking for. First of all, you want to establish a trend line, a downtrend line or an uptrend line. It doesn't really matter where you're looking at. I prefer trading to the upside, so I'm looking for the downtrend line. A trend line is really developed when you have 2 points and you draw the line through it, and it's tested by other price. When the price comes up and tested and holds, it continues to show that trend line down. When you get a break of the trend line, the trend basically changes. And what I'm looking for, and again, this is kind of that full moon, solar eclipse type of thing. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, it's a very important trade. So in this case, this is a great example. You're watching Electronic Arts break out of this trend. This is on a daily chart. Break out of the trend, run up, and then make its way back here. Now, how do you know when to get into a stock? I mean, you can guess to get into a stock here and here, but there's no real clear indication there. There's a couple support lines, but very unclear. So at this point, from this point on, from the pullback from this point to this point, or forever, you never really have a clear indication where you want to get in. One of my best indicators is stochastics, so I usually wait for the stochastics to set up to give me that timing indicator. But one of the, I would say, flawless entries are a retest of the downtrend line. So the downtrend line, once it's broke, the first retest of it, you watch for the bounce off the trend line, and what you want to have is the stochastics in an oversold area underneath 20. In this case, is a great example of that. All right, so the great example of how this is, you just take that trade off the trend line, put a stop in, your normal stop, whatever you use for your risk management, and then you ride this trade up. Now, this trade is not a reversal trade or anything. It's a bounce trade. It's a good trade. It doesn't confirm a new trend, but it just confirms a bounce. But it's a great trade, depending on where you're looking at. So I want to give you some good examples of this trade so you get them in your mind. And it takes a lot of research just to come across them. There might be some programmers out there that can set up some programs on trendline retracements and stuff like that. There's a lot of software programs out there. So if you have one that works off of this, that's great. So again, these are actually up-to-date charts. So I'm saying right now, ERTS looks like a good trade right now. The stochastics, I use those as entries and exits. So right now we got a bullish crossover upturn on the stochastics and move up here. Until that stochastic shows me something different, this is the buy on ERTS. MDRX. This is a good one. I'm going to show you why. Again, another great, this is one I usually trade. MDRX, nice channel trade here. We actually dipped out of the channel, came back into the channel, broke out. Kind of have a little dip down here. Kind of tested it here, but we had a gap down here and actually kind of tested it again. And what I like about this gap down is on the acquisition here. And we have a gap down. It's 3 days, so watch for 2 more days of consolidation here. Wait for the stochastics to get down into an oversold level, and then watch for a move back up to fill that gap on MDRX. BX, next one here. Blackstone Group. And again, another beautiful trend line here. You can see that a trend line and a trade. You guys know how I trade the trend line breaks. Usually you look for the divergence between the stochastics and the higher lows. But you have the trend line break, and this is actually the first time we got to pull back to the trend line. Stochastics oversold. Boom, nice bounce. Second retest, still holds. Stochastics crossover, nice bounce. Still looks really good. The trade is active, and it looks like a follow-through day, for this week on BX. Let's go on to the next one here. TKLC. Tekelec. Another trade that we traded in the past. And again, this is going out on YouTube, so a lot of people are going to be seeing this. This is I trade these stocks on DayTradingRadio.com each day. So I usually, describe these stocks when they set up. It's live market commentary and live coverage. So if I do see these things, I point them out to you and take those trades live. This is more of an educational video, but if you want to see more of this and bigger watch lists, just definitely check out the station. So what we're looking at is TKLC. Let me just expand this LC here for a second. You see it, wedge pattern breakout. First retracement, even a gap down and a smash down here, comes down to multiple indicator setups here. Recent support and the downward trend line and the oversold stochastic. So you get a nice bounce from basically 13 to close to $16. Comes back down again, hits the lower trend line. Again, stochastics get into an oversold. Another bounce. Third time bounce. Again, another crossover, TKLC. I'm going to guess this one continues to move up off of this move. So this looks also very good. We're moving on. Sure, I'm actually going to hit you with another stock before this one. Alcoa. Little trend line back here. This was the last real good trade on Alcoa. And again, downward trend line. You can see the downward trend line here in the breakout. And the first retracement back right here. Boom, hit it. Second retracement, boom, hit it. Like clockwork. And again, stochastics oversold right when we're coming into the that area here. Again, stochastics oversold. Bounce, bounce, bounce. These are extreme good buy area setups. Excellent. And this is an important factor in my trading, and I think you got to continue to watch these setups here. This is just trendline retracements. I think you can't go wrong here. That's a good example of at least 6 of them here. I have a lot more. I preview them on DayTraderRadio.com. Come on by. See you in the markets tomorrow. Got another video going out with some better setups for this week, so stay tuned for that.